All right. My three most favorite or popular metaphors for writing are as follows. One, cooking. Like, how do you know if what you're cooking is good? You taste it. Maybe have a trusted friend taste it. Keep trying new recipes and techniques till you find the dishes that work for you. Also, eat good food. Whatever you're making, you should know what a good version of that tastes like. So, by extension, how do you know if your writing is good? Read it. Maybe have a trusted friend read it. Keep writing and read good books, etc. Metaphor number two, home decor. Like that's a nice couch, a real centerpiece of the room. So what kind of drapes, lamps, tables, and rugs do you need to match? Or maybe not even match, accentuate. Is the couch what you want to draw the eye? Or the carpet or the painting? How do the colors and styles not just match, but play off of one another? Where does the eye go when it sees the room? That's an incredible plot device you've created for your story. What kind of characters, themes, language, and action do you need to play off of each other element? Maybe they all have to match, or maybe they just need to accentuate the one thing, the characters, the language, etc. Finally, metaphor three, flying. This is the metaphor for the structure of your story. Like everyone knows this metaphor. Everyone knows this metaphor. Like, how quickly does your story get off the ground? How smooth is the flight? Is it boring? Were there good movies? Did they feed you? Was there a drink cart? And ultimately, how well did they land the plane? Like, how to land the plane is the metaphorical question every writer has asked themselves. I think the most famous writer in America, Stephen King, gets it in the shorts over and over about his poor endings. And for some of his books, sure, fair, I guess. But I also think there's some value in an uneventful landing. Just a novel that wraps up its stories and themes and says, the end. I don't particularly care if the ending of a novel is incredible or boring or whatever. I just want the plane to land without crashing. Maybe that's not true, though. This was my second viewing in the last 2 months of Coralie. This was my second viewing the last 2 months of Coralie Farjat's The Substance, and both times that ending really got me. You can't even use the flying a plane metaphor anymore, because if you did, Farjat fucking barrel rolled and belly flopped that 787 Dreamliner onto a crowded beach. I don't know what the metaphor is because we got blood cannons. We got crawly slime with Demi Moore's face. We got, honestly, a standing ovation from me both times. Hi, Cecil.
Hi, Jeffrey.
What dish, I think I've asked you this before, what dish do you cook the best?
Oh no, the best.
Like if you were like, somebody's like, make me something, make it good. Like what do you
Oh,
know that you could go to that you're like, I know I can do this?
I don't know. I'm real simple. I'm like, put protein in pan, put vegetables in steamer, put starch,
You're not making
add
veal
together.
brains from that cookbook that
Oh my
Demi
God.
Moore gets?
Yes. I mean, I'm also a big recipe follower.
Yes, same.
I like recipes, and I know that a lot of people are like, "You can't tell me what to do, man." I mean, I oftentimes I like the structure of a recipe, knowing that I have something to refer back to when I'm like, should this look like this? How long does this need to happen? And I kind of know what the steps of order are
Yeah.
for things that are kind of going at once. But for like simple things, I'm like, put protein in pan, cook until hot.
Uh-huh.
Put vegetables in other pan, cook until uh, uh, edible. Or make salad, put salad in bowl.
hmm
Um, yeah. So having said that, I also like after making a recipe once or twice, I'll then be like, oh, I know that I want 5 times as much garlic because this one clove of garlic is bullshit.
Yes.
Or, ooh, it'd be really good in here, peas, that sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah, I think double the garlic is always a good rule of thumb for
Yeah.
every recipe that you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly simple too, and I'm a strict recipe follower. I think the one dish, like I have a few things that I can make without looking at anything
Mhm.
now that I've made them a few times because I like them so much. But I think the one dish I know I can knock out of the park if I have the ingredients is buttermilk biscuit. I think I'm
Oh, that's a good
really,
one.
really good at that.
Nice and easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice and easy. There's some technique involved,
Yes.
and you have to kind of know the texture of the dough as you're laying it out, and
Sure.
there's a gentleness to it, a pat, pat,
Yes.
pat of it all. Uh, bring up food. not only is it a good metaphor for writing, but man,
Mm.
this
You know what
movie
I'm hungry for?
loves food. What's
You
that?
know what I'm hungry for? An entire chicken.
Oh my God.
Which I was actually that was going to be my answer. I've made the Barefoot Contessa's chicken so many times. That's like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
And then you watch this movie and you're like, oh, how does a chicken carcass look like the worst thing in the world?
It's, I think the two, just jumping right to the end of the episode where we talk about approachability for
Okay,
something,
sure.
like I think the two hardest things to watch and listen to
Yeah, yeah, huh?
in this movie are the needles, like the
Oh
stitching,
yeah. Yeah.
and the food, just the
Yeah.
consumption of food, the remains of food, the food being pulled out of the body.
Like
Just
no, at no point does food look appetizing in this film.
no.
It's like how people eat it in Dennis Quaid eating those goddamn shrimp. It's Demi Moore's Elizabeth cooking black blood sausage,
Hmm.
like eggs in a beater just spraying in her face, and she's
Uh-huh.
not giving a fuck.
Uh-huh.
It's Margaret Qualley is Sue finding a fucking chicken leg in her belly button. No, absolutely not. Like even the martinis that like Demi Moore is drinking in the beginning are kind of like gross.
Yeah, there's like flecks of the pimento from the
Yeah,
olive floating in them and all of
yeah.
that. Yeah. That they've not been. Yeah, it's everything about it is disgusting food
Which I
wise.
mean, I honestly, when you're talking about body horror, and I think this movie, okay, so we covered Society a
Yeah.
couple like a few episodes back, quite a few episodes back. And to me, Society was like this weird sleeper hit of the 80s because it is kind of dumb.
Hmm.
Like, let's be honest. The plot is the writing, the character, it's kind of dumb. But the body horror of it is so wackadoo out there
Uh-huh.
that I think when I first saw it, I was like, nobody's doing what this is mad. The shunting is so insane
Uh-huh.
and so delightfully gross that I don't think another film has kind of captured that sort of gleeful grossness since Society.
No.
Like The Fly is gross,
Hmm.
but it's a different kind, it's a different flavor of gross.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this one is gleeful in its grossness. Like it's
Yeah.
which brings me to the other thing I thought of when I was rewatching this movie yesterday. Was it opens on the simple like cracked egg
Yes.
and the injection, and then you see the yolk double within the
Bloop.
white bloop, and which is a very which is very much a digital CGI'd effect.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we've talked a lot about practical versus CGI, and to start, I have a lot of great things to say about this movie. I have some complaints about this movie too, for my own personal taste. But the thing I really got this time was I think this is one of the most perfectly balanced digital to practical
Yes.
effects movies that I've
Absolutely.
seen, because the egg thing is a demonstration, and it's not really about being gross. It's a little gross to look at, but
It's
it's also
odd.
it's odd. It's a little beautiful too, but it's
Yeah.
the digital makes sense here. But when they get to the real gloopy gloppy, the up close, the stitching, the
Yeah.
needlework in this movie, that's practical effects.
It is something that somebody made and that someone is touching and manipulating with their fingers. And you feel that on a completely different level.
And then like by the time we get to like Monstro Elizasu or whatever its name is,
Yes. Yes.
uh it's that's a full on like monster suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that practical effects, and I just applause to this movie because there's so many movies we've seen, especially in the 21st century and late
Mhm.
90s, where they went all digital.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have to do that. I think you can go back to practical effects and use the digital to clean certain things up, or
Yeah.
to do one little small effect, but then use the practical to really, really look at it.
Yeah. And it also helps that this movie is, I think of this movie as a fairy tale.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
fable. Like there's very little real about this movie. It's shot parts of it in LA, but a lot of it was shot in France, like on a soundstage.
Hmm.
And it feels fake in a
Yes.
delightful way, in a way that like a heightened reality feels fake. Like, and I think the sort of homage to Stanley Kubrick that we get in a lot of the decor and the shots,
The hallway.
the
Yep.
hallway, the bathroom,
Hmm.
the long blue black the long blue black hallway into the bright sterile white bathroom, the 2001 Space Odyssey-esque sort of journey into the cells,
Yes.
like the sort of like laser light show.
Or even playing what's is it Strauss who wrote Also Sprach
Yes.
Zarathustra or whatever from
Yes.
2001 is what's playing when Monstroso finally steps
Yes.
on stage. Yeah.
It adds this heightened reality to everything. So you kind of go, okay, all your little nibbly questions about who made the substance, why doesn't she get any post care for the like
No.
how does Sue not get a job without giving them a social security number? Shut up. Shut up.
Yes.
Shut up and look at what's on the screen.
Yes. It's absolutely not about the practicalities of any of this. It's like, wait, how does Superman fly? I don't care. He
It
just
doesn't
does.
matter.
He just does. Why doesn't
Stop
he?
stop talking about metachlorians. I
Yeah,
don't
that's right.
like
Yeah.
I don't no, I want space wizards.
How does
And in
spinning
this
the
one, I
Yeah.
want a glamorous, beautiful Hollywood fable.
Yeah.
And that's what we get.
Yeah, and I read this also as it's also just very heavy satire, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
and it's so in those ways like you're dealing with like blunt objects, right?
Yeah.
You're dealing with like every plot element, every device in this movie is going to be you could say very blunt or very sharp either way, but it's
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
a one note trick and those notes are really beautiful and disgusting. Like she does it really well. So we have a lot of also the thing I clocked this time more than the first time was the number of overhead shots of things.
Yeah.
So we open on overhead shot of the egg, and then we go to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and we watch the star being constructed
Ah,
for
it's
Elizabeth
so
Sparkle.
simple.
Yeah,
It's so, and it's like the perfect kind of, again, like using metaphor as opposed to fact. The metaphor of fame.
yeah,
You get famous, you are constructed, you look like you're famous now. And people are like, oh my God, I love Elizabeth Sparkle. One, her name,
uh-huh,
Elizabeth Sparkle.
right,
This is not a real name. If you
uh-huh,
think this is a real, no, come on, you're in the wrong movie. And then the cracks begin to start, and then people kind of forget. They're like, wait, I think I remember her. Wasn't she in that movie? I can't remember what it is. And some dude spills a burger on it, that like gross red on pink,
uh-huh,
and he kind of half cleans it up, and then the cracks are and then you're like, oh, that's it. No,
uh-huh,
that's it. That's the introduction. That's all we need to know about who this person is.
yeah. So she has been a very popular, like you get the sense since the 80s,
Hmm.
a very popular like workout TV workout fixture with
Yeah.
Sparkle Your Life. But it is her, well, I guess not since the 80s, but it's because it's her 50th birthday. So that would have made her 10 in the mid
Yes.
80s.
But
Um,
but it's like it's also the casting of Demi Moore
uh,
is, who had such a heyday in the 80s, like was
yes.
such a, of the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
Like when they go through the hallway posters, I was like, ooh, those haircuts,
Uh-huh.
those hairdos.
There's also a sense that this is one of these types of movies that doesn't really let you know where in time we are.
No.
I mean, there's a USB drive and the
Yeah.
technology all
There's
seems
cell
very
phones. Yeah.
2020s.
Yeah.
But the style, the look of it is very, high 80s.
Yeah.
And it's very like where we're at, like teased hair 1987, like
Hmm.
bright long baggy shorts and things like that. So, or for men, but yeah, obviously for women, like the neon leotards and
Oh yeah,
roller
leg
skates at the
warmers.
beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Venice Beach, just
Hmm.
through and through. So it's Elizabeth's 50th birthday, and she overhears Harvey, disgustingly played by Dennis Quaid. Uh, she overhears him while she slipped into the men's bathroom because the women's is out of order, and she overhears his phone call of like, basically, Elizabeth's done. 50 is the cutoff date. That's when you midsommar these people off a cliff.
Yes, that's right.
And he's like, we need somebody young. Like, how is this woman still even here? Find me somebody new now. Title card, Elizabeth.
Okay. It's interesting. This movie never really gets, it doesn't get the title, like the substance up front. It's at the end,
Uh-huh.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, the sort of breaking up into chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it seems like it only has two chapters until mysterious third chapter
Yes.
occurs. And I'm like, I'm really glad it pulled in the chapter title for each of our main characters here.
Yes.
Because it really separates these people,
Mm-hmm.
which are all one person, played by different actresses in our minds.
Yeah.
So, as much as the disembodied voice on the phone says, you are one, already the director's fucking with our minds and being like, no, they're not.
Yeah. You can't be one. It's interesting that this is happening. Kind of, this movie comes out right in the middle of us also launching, not Succession, Severance,
Yeah. Yeah.
which are both variations on the doppelganger monster.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And where in Severance, your doppelganger, your double, actually shares the body with you, and in this one, the doppelganger is a separate entity but the same as you, and they don't look like you, but it's still a doppelganger. It's still the question of like, what am I in essence? Like, it's a deeply existential question.
What if my roommate, but me?
Yup. So we get this disgusting lunch with Harvey. This movie just
Oh, God.
relishes in people peeing, or just it opens with the first time we meet Harvey, he's at a urinal,
Oh, yeah.
and then
And
also hear
the
him like peeling these shrimps and this like mayonnaise that he's dipping it in and just getting
that's like a
shit.
little remoulade. It's like
I
a little
know
remoulade.
but up close, it just so goopy.
It's so there's a couple things that I really love about this movie, and that's the camera.
Uh
The
huh.
use of camera in this is fascinating to me. Like we do get a lot of, sort of normal kind of one shot, two shot sort of thing, but a lot of it is grotesque in its camera work. Like the first time we see Harvey, it's like extreme close up of his mouth talking into the phone. It's
Yeah,
extreme close up of the shrimp, of like, it's the camera really gets you up in there.
it does. It does. This reminded me of Barbarian, which is another movie that deals with how do men treat women.
Sure.
And some of the archetypes of those men are similar throughout. Barbarian has a more not delicate, but more delicate than this movie hand at
Yeah,
showing us the like three different type of triptych of
sure.
men. And
Yeah.
in this movie, we have much more than a triptych. We have a full array, a full rainbow of shitty men. And they're all variations on the same type of misogyny, but they're all very different in their kind of like tone and approach. And it's fascinating. And here with Harvey, he's so blatant. Like he is just, and make no mistake that we have the name Harvey as
Yes,
a big
exactly.
time Hollywood
That's
producer. But he's so blatant. He's like, at 50, it just stops. And she's like, what stops? He's like, oh, look, hey, good old boy, George. Hey,
yeah.
pal.
It's really interesting to me that in all of the Harvey scenes, Elizabeth and I think just Elizabeth says one line. Mostly you're just watching Demi Moore listen.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a fucking choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because honestly, we've not seen Elizabeth do too much. Like we watch Elizabeth process a lot of things in this movie. Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Information as well as substances.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting in these, she spends a lot of time alone in this movie, and it's interesting that in her scenes with Harvey, she is very much alone.
Yeah.
She doesn't get to talk. She's just sort of like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, I guess we're done now.
Yep. Yeah, and even with Sue, I think she doesn't talk very much either. He's just saying nicer things to
Yeah.
her, tonally much nicer things to her. Yeah, so like that the disparity of tone is really the difference in those scenes. Well, so on her way home, this movie gets right to it. On her way home, she is driving back and she sees a billboard of herself being torn down. And she's so concerned and focused on it that we get one of the scariest shots in any type of TV or film for me, which is the car immediately T-boning you.
The barrel roll.
Yes. But at the hospital, miracle of miracles, she has no broken bones, but she
Okay.
is bruised. Like her back is purple.
Yeah.
And obviously she is just broken mentally here.
She's having the worst 50th birthday.
Yes. The doc, here's again another one of these man in the panoply of men in this movie, this doctor who is like, oh, hey, my wife is a huge fan to her.
And she just starts like crying.
He's like, I gotta go.
Man,
But this young nurse guy,
like shockingly good with the most dewy skin
yeah,
and piercing eyes.
he's like the classic, like evil gorgeous.
Yes, absolutely.
Like he's
Like or alien gorgeous.
alien. That's totally it. Yeah,
You're
that's
like,
totally
are
it.
you a person?
Yeah,
Or are you like some alien pharaoh from Stargate?
yeah. But he checks her spine, checks her heart rate, says, you're a good candidate, and he slips into her coat before she leaves this little thumb drive and wrapped in a piece of paper, and the thumb drive says the substance, and the piece of paper in handwriting says it changed my life.
I bet it did.
But outside the hospital, she runs into here's another man. She runs into fucking Ned Ryerson, or actually in
Yeah.
this movie his name is Fred.
Nice guy.
Yes.
He's the blanket of niceness
Yes.
that slowly suffocates you.
Yep. Oh my God, Lizzie from 10th grade homeroom. Oh, you're still the most beautiful girl in the whole wide world. We should go for a drink sometime right here. Let me give you my number, which he tears off his like cholesterol report.
Hey, okay, that's cool. Listen,
Yeah.
but then kind of drops it in a puddle and then it's like, here you go.
Uh-huh.
Here's a gross, limp, dirty, wet scrap of paper that I'm sure you're going to really treasure forever.
Yes. So she goes home, watches the substance video. This instructional is just so to the point.
I love it.
You ever?
It's
Yeah.
it's really interesting the in an age in which we have outsourced anything that used to be of human connection
Right.
into its most basic parts and then sort of compartmentalized and robotized it. Is
Yes.
robotize a word? I don't
Sure.
know. That this idea that it's a thing. What is it? Well, it's a thing that does this thing.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any follow-up questions? Tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's no it's like it's like evil Amazon meets being stuck in a phone tree
Uh-huh.
in which you have to talk to a representative to get like any answer. And it's like, did you know you could go online and do all this online? And you're like, but I can't do this. Like it's like that sort of modern like desperation,
Right.
loneliness.
Right. There is a there is a website, like an early web website. And it looks like I was just pulling it up. It looks like it still exists, called zombo.com.
Okay.
I haven't looked at it in forever, and I'm not really like doing anything with it right now, but it would say it's a single page. And I
Okay.
just remember the audio being something along the lines of like zombo.com, zombo. And it has kind of like this sense of promise, the
Okay.
sense of this website will do everything, will be everything
Okay.
to you. And then the more you sit with it, you're like, there's nothing to click on, there's nothing to do. It's just like rainbow colors and some effects, and then that's it. And it just repeats over and over and over again. But it is similar to like what you were saying, like there's this promise of something bigger because we have the production value,
Yeah.
because we have this movie, like you said, like gets into nothing to do with who's funding this,
Yeah.
who's
No.
doing it, how do you pay for it, whatever.
No.
But there is a question like with AI right now, or like what we've done with self-driving cars or what have you. It attracts venture capitalists. It
Yeah. Yeah.
attracts
Yeah.
people that want to pour money, and it's like, yes, this is the future. This is why. What's her name? Was it Elizabeth Holmes? Is that the blonde woman who dressed like Steve Jobs with a deep voice and did like the blood test things for Walgreens?
I have
And
no
it all
idea what
turned
you're
out to be a
talking about.
giant fraud.
Oh,
And it was
Jesus.
this huge tech fraud, basically.
Oh, whoa.
But she sold the promise of something incredible.
Yeah.
And dumb schmucks like the people who own Walgreens
Yeah.
were like, yes, here's millions of dollars to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what the substance feels like, that product.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get into like why we fund this shit. But it
No.
certainly brings up questions as to like, should you ever use a medical product
Uh-huh.
without any knowledge of who made it or any
Or
safety
how to use it.
or how to use it?
It's like this movie appeals to the unboxing generation.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the
You know,
unboxing is really big
like
here.
it doesn't almost doesn't matter what it is, what the thing is. It's more about the unboxing,
Yeah.
the packaging, the look at me showing, oh look, I've got this thing that so and so sent me because I'm an influencer. Let's unbox it. Click, 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 nails on box, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then you get there and it's like the simplest of instructions, like step one, this, step two, this, step three, this. No follow
Yeah.
up.
No follow-up.
And then when we get into the actual, like, they just give her like a fucking catheter.
Yeah.
Like, where does it go? What do I
They
need to
give
find a vein in the
they
neck?
they give her
In
a
the back?
spinal tap.
What?
Um,
Not even the sort of like cute but dysfunctional IKEA, you know, like diagrams,
no.
just the simple, pure text. And I think that's where this movie has this dark existential appeal to the 2020s. It's the packaging, it's the branding of the
Hmm.
substance.
Yeah.
It's the tone of voice. And listen, it's that which sounds like a hard drive inside a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That shit gives me night. Like that is the thing that I took away from this movie was that sound.
It is
Because it's
nightmarish.
so ominous and yet somehow authoritative. So we're talking about like the male, you know, like the sort of like male grossness in this movie, the disembodied voice of authority
Yeah.
is one of the spookiest parts of this movie.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that the voice of the substance is a man's voice. And here we have yet another, here's another place, another gatekeeper
Yeah.
as a man, or another guardian of something,
Yeah.
is a man that has something to do with your body. And even though the man is so neutral, just matter of fact, what's
Yep.
your code number? What is this? Just, you didn't even ask the question. You just kind of know what
No.
you're supposed to say to him. But yeah, I love the poetry of the language of this video, of like, everything comes from you. Everything is you.
Oh, it's
Do not
gorgeous.
forget, you are one.
It's poetry.
Mhm.
It's like dark existential poetry. Like if you were to look at it on the page, you could lift it as poetry. And the beautiful thing about poetry is that it oftentimes leaves a lot to be interpreted rather
Yeah.
than prose, which kind of spells it out for you
Yeah.
in 10,000 words. Poetry is like, no, you get 10, maybe 20,
Mm-hmm.
and then extrapolate what you need to from that.
Mm-hmm.
And we now see through the course of this movie how that can go wrong in the hands of messy, complicated people.
Mm-hmm.
You are one. Yeah, but we're actually two.
Yeah.
No, respect the balance. I'm respecting the balance. She's not respecting the balance.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fuck up our living room so she has to spend all day vacuuming.
So she, we see like her immediately from 50th birthday on, right? Like from the get-go, that worst birthday ever
Yeah.
she goes immediately into depression mode,
Yeah.
right? Because she's lost her job. She understands she's lost her job because of something she can't change about herself, which is
Right.
the trajectory of time.
Yeah.
And here she is at having a 4 martini nightcap, ordering a fifth, watching a young couple kind of be flirty at the end of the bar. So she calls that number out. She wants to order. They give her an address, and that address, I think, is something Byron Alley.
Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting that the place you have to go is, and this is so LA, the idea of like, you have to find, there's this deep, dark,
I know, right?
disgusting corner,
Yeah.
but also inside is like something so polished and clean and sterile. And
Yeah.
then like the mismatch of sterility and disgustingness is perfect for Los Angeles, not only for the film and TV industry, but also I think just for the aesthetic of the city, because it is beautiful, and like a giant city, it's disgusting. It's not to say
Yeah.
Los Angeles is, because it's Los Angeles, disgusting.
It's because it's the desert.
Yeah.
It's the desert and the ocean, which are very like simple block color beauty.
Yes.
But then when you put a city inside of it, it gets
Yes.
a little grody.
Yeah.
I love the like, I'm going to put on my yellow coat.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put on my big superstar sunglasses, and I am going to, and like the sort of the journey into the alley, which she makes like 3 or 4 times, and how more and more unhinged it gets as it goes. This sort of like over the shoulder camera shot. There's dogs barking. Like the cars look like they were recently on fire. Like she's not in a cute part of town.
No.
The door only half opens. It almost reminds me of like walking through Chinatown in New York, and like when they were like Fenda Prada Gucci, Fenda Prada Gucci.
Uh-huh.
You want a bag? You want a bag? Here,
Yeah.
come back in this back alley.
Yeah. Yeah, and you go up into like a 6th floor, walk up someplace. Yeah. And she has to like, she gets her little key card in the mail. This is 503. There's the little scanner thing for the card at the door. The thing only opens halfway. Disgusting little alley that has like signs up saying like hazardous material because of the roach poison they've put in this hallway, or rat poison. I forget which one. But this room is so clean, and she gets her package. We get our unboxing video. Great point, Cecil. We've got our activator, single use, one time only, our stabilizer, our switch tubes to connect the
Okay.
blood to each other, the
Cool.
card that says, remember, you are one. And
Uh-huh.
we watch this long process to inject herself. So, if you are queasy about needles at all,
Mm-mm.
this is not the movie for you.
No. And they go everywhere. In the
Everywhere,
arm, in the leg,
in the
in the
wrist,
wrist. Oh,
in the
God.
spinal column, just,
Oh,
oh.
no.
So, the other two things, and I clocked this the first time I watched this, and I would imagine there are a lot of medical professionals that have seen this movie who probably freak out the most at why are you doing, why are you stitching an open wound
Oh, God.
with no gloves, no
Sure.
sterile equipment?
No.
This needle just came in sure, I'm sure that's
Yeah. In a
sterilized.
vacuum packed.
Yes.
But there's something about her bathroom that gives the impression of operating theater.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
Like it's it's white, it's block. There's no comfort in this bathroom.
Yeah.
There's no nothing. And then also like once we kind of get into the swapping of the bodies, there's something so sad about seeing just a naked body on a white linoleum floor
Yeah. Yeah.
for days.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, there's no comfort given to the other body. No, like, I'm gonna prop you up.
No.
I mean, at one point, I think Sue, the first time, does put a rolled up towel underneath Elizabeth's head
Yeah.
because she looks a little sad.
Yeah.
But eventually, she just chucks that thing in a fucking closet.
Yeah. It's interesting pause for a second to just talk about that, like there's a theme in this movie beyond body, beyond
Mhm.
like women's bodies as
Sure.
property or as content. Um and beyond misogyny. There's something to be said in this movie about older and younger generations.
Yep.
And when you put it on a single person
Yeah.
where their bodies are one, there as you get older, you're like, man, I really fucked up my body as a young person
Sure.
with my playing so much football. Like my knees are fucked,
Yeah.
or or even
I
something
listen to
really.
music too loud and now I can only hear every fifth word.
Yep. And so the way that the excesses of youth kind of deplete the body of older age. And I find that really fascinating. And then the disgust we have as we get older that is, I think, inherent in people. It's something some people have to battle harder to curb as they get older, which is a disdain for youth
Sure.
because you're watching people replace you.
Yeah.
You know, the
You
thing
are
we
becoming irrelevant.
that's it. And I've always thought that like we don't talk enough about as you get older, you're not just losing athleticism or body
Sure.
function or
Sure.
health, you are or beauty, you're losing relevance.
Yeah.
You're losing relevance so quickly. And that I think creates that disdain. So that battle between young and old is really fascinating here of how they immediately are enemies of one another.
And it's interesting how this movie clearly focusing on the exterior package
Uh-huh.
rather than the substance of the person. So
Uh-huh.
like the things that we trade as we, you know, the skin gets saggy and things don't work the way they used to and your body deteriorates. The thing you get as you get older is experience and wisdom and understanding and kind of the things that are you can't point to
Yeah.
on a body map.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like Elizabeth's apartment, like she never has to worry about like we never see money discussed in this movie,
No.
which to me is like a very large dichotomy between young and old. Is that like by the time you're older, you kind of have an understanding of what you're willing to do for money, how to get like what your place is in the world. But Elizabeth just kind of exists in this bubble
Yeah.
of comfort,
Yeah.
the plush carpeting, the velvet sheet. Like she ain't got to worry about that. But
And and lack of culture.
we never see her appreciate what she does have, what she has earned, what
Yeah.
she has, what a long hallway of doing exercise videos has gotten for her.
Yeah. Yeah, or there's a sense of a, a lack of understanding what it is she wants. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
she's been forced into retirement or she's been fired.
Yeah.
But the question when you're fired is if you have the money to not
Yeah.
have to go back to
I
work,
know, right?
there are a lot of people out there that would be like, well, hell yeah, I'm just going to travel the world.
Yeah.
You don't have a partner at age 50. It might be okay to not have a partner at age 50. It
Yeah.
might be okay to say, spinster culture, baby. I'm going to France. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Or make that film that you always wanted to make.
Yeah,
Get back, like exercise videos, cool,
yeah,
but get back to what you did when you were younger. And it's interesting
yeah,
how immediately it's all about the body.
yeah,
In that way, this movie definitely echoes Death Becomes Her,
yeah,
the sort of body obsess.
yes. And we're watching. Our main character in this movie is, an unlikable person. I mean, we root for her. We want her to do okay at the get-go because you're watching a very depressed woman
Yeah.
spiral pretty quickly into that depression, and you want her to get it together. But she, through whatever reasons, through her upbringing to this point in her life, cannot think of anything she wants more than to be beautiful and relevant through beauty.
She just wants to be loved.
She wants
She
to be
wants
loved.
the sparkle.
She wants the sparkle. So, all right, time for body horror as
Okay.
we go full Gremlins. We got the Mogwai, we got the Gremlin
Yeah.
wet,
Yeah.
and the back is bubbling, but these pupils are
The
doubling.
pupils, bloop,
Oh,
double pupil. And I think this is the interesting thing of like, how are we going to do this? This is the big magic trick of like, how does one become two? Well, through the back.
yep, just straight out the back.
And
How?
then her
Don't know.
rib cage, be damned.
Yeah. I think it's such a good question because in the creation of the script or the visual, I don't know how it's written in the script, but in the visual here, it's very specifically out the back, and I imagine there had to have been some conversations or just thought about, well, we can't have her birth her.
Right.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
So you really can't have the body come out through the belly at
Yeah.
all, because I know babies don't naturally come out through the belly, but like it's still baby is in the belly. The visual.
Right. This
of
is not
that.
Alien.
No.
This is not that mother metaphor.
And yeah, and you don't want a mother metaphor either for this person. Like you want them to come out in a way that says we are one.
It's, honestly, it's like a chrysalis. It's
Yeah.
caterpillar
Totally.
becomes butterfly.
Totally.
And it kind of splits open and you're like, boop, I'm a different thing now.
Yep.
And look at that. That was the old gross thing that I used to be.
Yep. So this is how Sue comes to be, and Sue kind of like checks out her own body in amazement, which is interesting because one of the big questions I have in this film is how much of Sue's experience
Mm-hmm.
is Elizabeth conscious of?
Yeah.
And I think this first moment is the only moment in the movie that I feel like Elizabeth is experiencing Sue's experience. And I
Okay.
think she loses a grip on it because the rest of the movie, I don't get a sense that they are one. I get a sense
Yes.
that
They're
she only
acting
knows,
independently, right?
yeah, that this girl's taking her body out for a spin every 7 days and leaving it trashed, basically. But in this moment, the way Sue looks at her own body examines her beauty, examines every curve, every feature, her lips, her eyes, everything about her is beauty. And she seems so impressed with herself.
Oh, she loves
Like
it.
it's all about confidence.
And at the same time, she is also covered in like amniotic fluid.
Which is funny because it gives that sheen, right? It
Yeah,
gives like
yeah.
the
Dewy.
it's dewy. It's like the oiled up bikini model sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. But
I will say,
yeah,
I again, the point of view camera is amazing. Like, so for the first 30 seconds of Sue's existence, we're kind of like inside her, where it's point of view camera, and also all the sound is like submerged,
uh-huh. Yeah.
like kind of like when you put your head underneath water. And the director does this a lot throughout this movie to various effects.
hmm Yeah, to play with the sound and even the shaking of the camera sometimes
Mhm.
goes with that too, of like a queasiness, a liminal space in between consciousness and unconsciousness when the bodies come in and out. So she sews up Elizabeth's back, but just kind of like leaves her
Yeah,
in a puddle on the
just
floor.
like I'll just deal with that later.
So the idea is that one, you have to plug in the 7-day pack of food goo to
Food Matrix.
the food matrix to the body on the floor.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the stabilizer, which is this giant needle that you jam into the spinal column, take all of the fluid out of the spinal column, or take fluid out of the spinal column, and then that gives you 7 days of little injectable pods to give
This sort of
yourself.
to keep you stable, to
Stabilizer.
kind of
Yeah.
connect you to your host, your original body.
Yeah.
And if you don't, and we learned this pretty early on, she kind of Sue goes to bed. She's like, I'm gorgeous. She goes to bed. She wakes up and she's like, oh, fuck, nosebleed, dizzy. She's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, okay, you got to stabilize once a day
Yeah.
in these little canisters that I was like, how do those work? How is this? How does this work? I don't understand. Okay, sure.
How is this sterile? How is this
Yeah.
staying
How
sterile?
do you know where to fucking find the node you're going to put into the, you know what? Never mind.
Well, so Sue, goes to this casting call that Elizabeth had seen the previous
Mhm.
day in the paper, basically calling on models between the ages of 18 and 30, no older than 30, to come to basically to be the new Elizabeth
The new
Sparkle.
Elizabeth, come dressed to impress.
So Sue stops off, buys a hot pink leotard, and heads her way to the audition.
That leotard is out of control. Like
Psych-
it's like Psycho Flashdance.
it is, yeah. It's 1987 through and
It's like
through.
asymmetrical. It's that fuchsia pink
Uh-huh.
metallic. It's the high waist. It's a lot.
hmm So here's another male archetype as the two boys running the
Mhm.
audition, who are, as this one woman clears out, they're like, oh, too bad her boobs couldn't be on her face instead of that nose.
Yeah.
And
Just dead, completely deadpan,
yeah.
receives no joy, no nothing, and just like, we're going to critique the fuck out of these women's bodies without thinking about them as actual people.
And when Sue comes in, they're like, oh, she's got all the parts in all the right places. And I love the way these two phrases kind of come back
Mhm.
during the
Oh, yeah.
Monstroso section.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Because straight dudes say this shit about women all the time.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, like I was thinking about, um, oh, she's got, legs for days. And I was like,
Mhm.
all right, okay, great. Yeah, long legs can be very attractive, but like those legs go all the way up. And I'm like, that would be weird looking, like a head
Uh-huh.
on two legs,
Uh-huh.
like just woman as easel. It's a very strange visual. Um, and she introduces herself. I'm Sue. Title card, Sue
Sue.
in bright pink.
And it's like her, like, and for the rest of the movie, it's like her, like the lips, the pink mascara. The fashion in this movie is really interesting to me because fashion is, again, kind of this generational thing of like, you can get away with so much when you're young that then when you get older, if you try to get away with the same thing, you look foolish.
Yep.
But then weirdly enough, if you can make it past that and you get into the old, you can kind of cycle back to the young and crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck yeah, grandma, grandpa, wearing insane shit, live your life.
Yeah.
Because you only have so much of it left. You can wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
And what we see Elizabeth wearing in this movie is really fashionable, like the backless dress, her date dress with those like shoulder pads are gorgeous. But it really talks about how fashion should make you feel. She
Uh-huh.
never feels good in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, she's got a new show. Harvey is immediately like, "What a gorgeous little angel you're hired." And she's like, "Well, I have a small scheduling issue."
Oh yeah. My mother's really sick and I have to have every other week off.
He's like, "We will work around
I
anything you
want
need."
you.
Gorgeous, pure heart. People are gonna love that. So we get the montage of her being hot. She's gonna get a new show. The show is basically a morning workout show that is getting 120 ratings on
Is it?
television.
Like, you're like, is this a workout show? Also, what time of day is this on? What
It's
network is this on? Because it's like when we see Elizabeth doing her workout, the old fashioned sort of again, the Jane Fonda classic jazzercise kind of workout, it's moves that are meant to be done at home. This is a twerk out.
yeah, yeah, it is a twerk out.
It's
Yeah,
less educational or, like you're not supposed to be able to follow this.
no,
It's meant to be ogled.
yeah,
Like this is not made for women to do at home in their living room. This is made for men to go, oh, and twerk and thrust.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I like the way she thrusts.
Yeah, yeah. It's just kind of like it's just absolutely mindless, dramaless. It's just it's very like idiocracy. Just dumb shit on TV to activate the eyes, essentially.
It's more music video
Yeah,
than workout
yeah.
video.
Well, we get the switchback, and Elizabeth goes back to the office, and this time that long Kubrickian hallway, all of her portraits are gone in that hallway. And there's fucking Harvey being like, "Oh, we were looking for you. We wanted to have a drink with you before your departure. Here's all of your stuff in a box. By the way, got you this present, which my wife told me to get for you.
I
Have a
love my
good
wife.
one."
My wife is great. I love my wife.
And yeah, this is so yeah, we're really getting into her depression because we're kind of watching the repetitiveness of her life of just
Yeah.
she spends her days either watching TV, reading mail, reading the paper, picking up the refill kits, just biding time until
Yeah.
Sue gets back.
As the man in the diner says, 7 days is a long time.
Yeah. And Sue, when she comes back, is noticing just kind of how
Yeah.
poorly, and we're gonna watch this back and forth of it gets worse and worse pretty
Yeah.
rapidly.
Because it started like
Yeah.
Sue finding the dent in the couch.
Yes,
She's like, ugh, a
yeah,
gross roommate. She doesn't do anything. She just sits on the couch all day.
yeah, and she wants the apartment to look good. And it's also kind of she's disgusted by somebody not being the most like she
Yeah.
is, without an understanding of how hard it is to get older and to be able to like feel comfortable going out into the world and partying it up. Like so when you get older, a lot of times, what's a nice night to you? I want to stay in and I want to watch a show.
Hmm.
I want to eat
Yeah.
some. I want to have a nice glass of wine and make my own dinner.
We
And
were literally just talking about this before the episode started. You're like, my social calendar is too busy.
uh-huh.
You know what I'd love? 48 hours of quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. As I get older, I'm like, I do need a couple. If I have like 3 nights in a row, I need a night to myself of not just going to a movie with friends.
Yeah.
It's great. Then you're
It's
like,
lovely,
what
but
about a
it's
nice
also
night?
not like the default
No.
as you get older. Okay, can we talk about this portrait?
Oh, the big portrait of Elizabeth
The
on the wall.
This is
Yeah.
one of my favorite sort of like continuing visual metaphors throughout this movie.
Hmm.
And you've got the workout portrait of Elizabeth Sparkle in her heyday. And when Elizabeth gets fired, she throws a little globe, a little
Hmm.
snow globe that beams this thing right in the eye. And for the rest of this movie, this portrait has like a cloudy eye. And
Yeah.
I don't know how many different iterations of this portrait their art department went through, but
Uh-huh.
this thing is fucking terrifying to me.
It's so good.
And it's like, I don't know how it's like the toothy evil smile. It's like, it's not evil. It's just too glossy.
Yeah.
Like there's no joy in the eyes, and especially when you take out one of the eyes and it's like kind of like cyborg looking.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something about I just think about like it's really interesting. Like, so these recordings that we do, we don't polish our video obviously at all, but I'll post our videos, our Zoom videos to YouTube. But we're not doing the thing like having like a full studio set behind us
No.
or perfect lighting or perfect audio for those videos. But it's funny when I upload it, YouTube just automatically assigns the still frame from the video that it
Oh
wants.
no.
But it's funny because if you kind of go sort through our videos on YouTube, it's usually one of us, mostly me because I have a colorful background almost every
Sure.
time.
Okay.
But it's usually me like in mid pose of like hand up and mouth open. Yeah, and if you scroll through any YouTube video of
Yeah.
people talking, a lot of them actually make their own and they have learned there's a certain face
Yeah.
that attracts clicks.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I remember, I think it was the writer and social media philosopher Jason Pargin who had a thing about the dead-eyed nature of clickable faces,
Sure.
like the Mr. Beast like
Yeah.
smile. But if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
at Mr. Beast, like
No.
he's like got cow's eyes, like there's just no life in them. Like
No.
they may be objectively good looking eyes, but the longer you stare at them, the longer you're like, there's no soul in
Like,
that.
how does this person feel? They
Yeah.
feel excited that you're clicking on their video.
Yeah. And it's funny that there's something psychological that, and I'm not saying Mr. Beast has no soul. I'm just saying he
Mm.
knows he's very good at YouTube.
Yes.
So he knows what the look has to be. He's done this for
Yeah.
years and years and years and years. And there's something about like a soulless face with a smile
Yeah.
that
Gross.
the algorithm has figured out we all like. Deep
Yeah.
down, that's what we're clicking on.
I think it's the majority clicks on.
Totally, but that's what drives the algorithm is
Right.
like mass
Because
movement.
it's almost like it's like a neutral mask that you can kind of put whatever you want onto
Uh-huh.
it.
Uh-huh.
And then you take that portrait, and then we have this beautiful picture window of Los Angeles.
Yes.
And then as soon as Sue makes it big out of nowhere,
Hmm.
this billboard did not exist before, but then there's like coming soon, new show. And it's Sue in her sparkle bikini.
Hmm.
And we've got it's this like stare down, this like Wild West shootout, OK Corral kind of vibe
Uh-huh.
that kind of sets up our second act.
Yeah.
Until Sue just is like, fuck this old lady. I'm going to take this portrait down.
Yeah.
This is my apartment now.
I like how that billboard that faces the apartment with Sue on it, she's, in her workout gear, but she's also like staring right at the camera in it, and it's a very seductive sort
yeah.
of look. But as the movie goes on, again with you can lay anything on it, You start looking, the more you look at her face, the more you're like, that's a sinister look.
Yeah.
That is a predatory look
Yeah. I'm
that
gonna
she
eat you.
has. Yeah. So now we get to the point where we're watching Sue get in this full fucking bodysuit, like black bodysuit with stiletto
Oh
boots.
my God, this outfit is tops.
Fire. It's so good.
Well,
And
she's filmed her entire week. They've shot the video, this like crazy twerk out video. And so it's her last night
yep,
before she has to body swap. So she's going out with the Youngs.
yep.
They're going to paint the town.
And she brings, what is this dude's name? Troy or whatever it
Yeah,
is. She
yes.
brings this motorcycle dirtbag.
Yeah, floppy haired
Yeah,
motorcycle dirtbag.
yeah. What is her? Oh yeah, what's Joseph's phrase? Oh yeah, dirt bike shithead.
Yep.
And so she brings this boy home, but she starts getting a bloody nose.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, can't walk well. Be right back.
She's like, I gotta go.
And she's remembering every 7 days without exception. And she just kind of takes a little bit more of the stabilizer.
Yeah. Just
She's already
like,
done the seventh, but one more
again,
won't hurt.
there's something about like numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't know, day number 4. And you take like a used thing and you're like, I'll just use this again. It'll be all right.
Yep. And she does, and she gets refreshed. She goes back to
I
that
love
boy.
I love his reaction. She's like, what did you do? You look even more beautiful. It's this sort of like man boy energy
Yeah.
of like, girls are magic.
Girls are so pretty, you guys. And there's this interesting thing that this is, I think, the first moment I think that this happens in the movie, but we start getting in these transitions. There's more dream imagery happening.
Yes.
So here we have the dream imagery as he's going to like unzip her. We watch the back around her butt of this outfit like tear open and guts spill out, and then just boom, Elizabeth's awake.
So there is some sort of like psychological damage.
Yes.
Some psychological trauma in the swap.
Uh-huh.
And we see Sue's version of that later.
And the physical damage is shown here both in Elizabeth now has like witch finger.
Oh my God. The fucking witch finger.
So good.
And I love it that it's so simple. It's just one gross finger.
Yeah.
But this
And
becomes like, the like Elizabeth's fixation on this one little thing is indicative of her imbalanced relationship with herself slash Sue.
yeah.
One flaw ruins the entire thing.
And it is like the roommate metaphor because Sue left this place trash. There's bottles and
Yeah.
takeout shit just bottles mostly just fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth wants to speak to the manager.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a slight misuse of the substance. That voice, that man says, well, what has been used on one side is lost on the other side.
Can I turn it back? Can I turn back time?
No. And she says, well, obviously she was drunk when she did it. And the voice says, remember, there is no she. You are one. Respect the bounds. Click.
Bye.
Okay, so, all right, we mentioned Dirtbike Shithead is another of our men in the panoply of men. Now we're going to meet fucking Oliver.
The Seidler.
Yes.
The like, hey. One, it's the okay, so Sue is building Sue's building a closet to put the body in, which honestly makes sense because you don't necessarily want to have a dead looking body in the middle of your bathroom when your friends come over. Makes sense. Again, it is just as sterile, if not worse, because it is just a black room.
Yeah, she didn't run electrical in there.
It's just like a little vent on the floor, and it becomes this sort of like abyss.
Mm-hmm.
But she's doing some reno at all hours because she's only got 7 days to get this project.
Yeah.
And Oliver across the way is like, "Hey, old woman, I'm trying to get some sleep here." And Sue comes out in her little crop top, and he's all like, "I'm,
Uh-huh.
I don't, uh, uh,
It's so
pretty, so
gross.
pretty."
The thing that's scary, I mean, he's such a scary character because we a lot of times just see him through the peephole.
Hmm.
Like this is one of the few times we actually see him, one on
Yeah, yeah.
one standing
Like
in
in a
the room.
scene. Yeah.
But the fact that he lives directly across the
Hmm.
hallway and through the peephole that looks like it's the only way out.
Yeah.
And the peephole on her apartment suggests he also has a peephole. So here's another gate being
Yeah.
kept by a man, just being able to enter and leave your own space.
Yeah.
Because he's going to come over later and just talk through the door, being like, I can see you looking at me through the peephole. And
Yeah.
why don't you come over to my dinner or to my place tonight for drinks? And I'm going to take your silence as a yes, see you soon.
Yeah.
Like, "Whoa."
So like you can't even leave your own apartment without somebody being like, "Hey, hey, 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 pretty girl, hey, pretty lady."
Yeah. Elizabeth goes to, she's got to, every damned week, she's got to go get those refill kits at the little locker in whatever alley.
Yeah.
And she gets a little spooked hearing voices in there and she gets the
Yeah.
fuck out and goes to just this diner.
This is like the saddest like early bird special,
Uh-huh.
hasn't been updated since like the 1950s
Or like
diner.
it feels like 60s or because there's like no like there's something about a 50s diner where I'm thinking
Yeah.
about
Oh,
like
that's true. Yeah.
Naugahyde and
Yeah, yeah,
Chrome.
yeah. Like the sort of the New Jersey like neon
Yes.
diner.
Yes.
This is like sad supper club. Sad
Yeah, totally. Ugh.
middle of the day. There's
Uh-huh.
like it's nothing but single older folks sitting at tables.
Yeah.
You know, it's like sad cruise ship.
Yeah, it is. And it's all like beige and taupe and
Hmm.
tables and chunky wood and it's gross.
And
And
Elizabeth is freaking out. And
uh-huh.
she like she can't even like she's wearing gloves because of course she can't like show anybody her finger.
Yeah. And there's that old man sitting across and he's like, it's long, isn't it? 7 days. And she recognizes him as the nurse who got
Because
her
they have the
into
same
this.
birthmark, which
Yeah.
is something that we've set up that Sue and Elizabeth have the same birthmark.
Uh-huh.
So again, this idea of like you are the Matrix, which we've seen in the demonstration of like silly putty. You pull it apart. One of them is kind of misshapen. The other one is sort of nice and smooth. And then you smash them, but it's all of the same stuff. So
Yep.
there's things that, like birthmarks, that
Uh-huh.
maintain on both bodies.
Yeah. And he's essentially a harbinger type character, this old
Yeah.
man, right? Because he's doing the like, I'm just curious. It gets harder each time, doesn't it? To remember that you still matter. Has she started yet? Has she started eating away at you yet? And
Hmm.
Elizabeth is like, fucking out.
Yeah. No, I can't listen to this right now.
So she, again, she's just, the world is coming down on her, and she basically decides to call Fred Ryerson.
Oh, man. Well, again, it's but this idea of like, what do you want besides exterior? What do you want besides passing pleasure?
Yeah.
Like what is the substance that you want? You're like, you know what? I want someone that is like there's other qualities besides having a juicy ass
Yeah.
that maybe I want in my life.
Yeah. And it's funny though because like the first thing he says to her is like it's so clear that he's dumbstruck by her fame and beauty.
Yeah.
And we understand that he is also 50 because they were in the same 10th grade together.
Mhm. But
And
they're a terrible match.
they're a horrible match. They're such different places in life and he's incapable of looking at her like a normal woman
Yeah.
because she is famous
Yeah.
for her beauty. But she calls him. He can't even talk to her. He's so overwhelmed.
Yeah. I know the like it's like the amount of times she's like, "Are you there?" He's like, I'm dumbstruck."
Like my dude, just but just roll with it, be normal,
Yeah.
act normal, have a normal conversation. You're going to be
It is
good.
possible to talk to another person.
It is. So, but she cannot get out of her house. So that he makes reservations. I love that it's at Luigi's, which is like the most kind of like middle class neighborhood sounding little
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to whatever the hottest LA stop
No.
is.
No.
We're not going to Lidio. We are going
No, no,
to
no. This is not
Luigi's.
Budokan.
Yeah, we're going to Glendale here, you
Yeah.
know.
This scene. This is the scene where I was like, when I saw this in 2024, I was like, Demi Moore is going to get nominated for an Oscar for this
Yeah,
scene. This is the scene for me.
100%.
It's the intent. It's so beautifully constructed, and the performance is subtle until it's very much not subtle.
Uh-huh.
It reminds me of Annette Bening in American Beauty.
Yeah. Yeah, the putting on of makeup.
Because
And
she's like, she's got the fucking shoulder pads dress on,
mhm.
her hair's done up, she's got like a little bit of makeup on, and it's like in the constant cutting back to the clock. We know it's at 8. It's like, oh, 7:30, got plenty of time. But then she looks down and sees Sue's body and how beautiful she is, and she's like, just a little more blush and just
Uh-huh.
maybe a little more eye makeup and just, kind of fix my hair. And she's like, cool. And I'm out the door, but she sees that
Uh-huh.
goddamn a billboard and how beautiful Sue looks in the billboard. And she starts putting on a little more. And again, it's that thing of like things that should make you feel the transformation of makeup
Yeah.
all of a sudden become like a drug that you're like, I need to feel it harder. And then you start looking unhinged.
Yeah.
By her
Yeah.
third iteration, it's looking a little rough.
Yeah. And she's in like true depression here, and she
Yeah.
sees her distorted face on the doorknob reflection, and
Oh
that's like
God.
the last straw. She just tears her face apart. Like all
Yeah.
the makeup is just off, and she goes to eating depression food in front of the
Yeah.
TV while texts roll in from Fred Ryerson being like, where you at? You okay?
Oh my God.
Okay, so Sue, so this is another one of these like little dream blips.
Hmm.
But Sue's back on the show and she's doing it, and it's Pump It Up is the name of her
Hmm.
show, and
Got to
everybody's
pump it up,
hot and
pump
smiling,
it
and
up.
but there's a moment where she does like a full bend, ass in the air, and a little bubble is like whoop, like not little,
Ugh.
like baseball sized bubble
Yeah.
appears on her ass.
She gets freaked out.
She gets freaked out, everyone, and I love that they're like, wait, okay, yeah, we can reset. Wait, we've got the booth saying we need to like review something weird happened with the footage. Let's bring it up, replay on camera 2, and they bring
On the
it
big
big
screen.
screen.
And it's all the male crew members
Uh-huh.
gathering at the giant screen. They're like, no, we're going to take this frame by frame.
And it's like a close
Click,
up on
click,
her like
click, click,
open
click,
crotch
click. Yeah.
at the screen.
And it's just all these passive neutral men's faces living like, yeah, uh-huh,
Uh-huh.
uh-huh, yep, yep.
And there's a we watch for the first time, she kind of snaps. Like
Yeah.
there is one woman of color
Oh, yes.
on the set, and she snaps at her to be like, I need my robe. Well, we're about to give me my robe now. And
She's like, oh, okay.
it's a it's a jolt when she
Mhm.
does that. You're like, you're losing track of what it means to be a good person if you ever knew what it was to begin with. But that selfishness of getting back into the dressing room, and she feels around her ass where that bubble was, and there is a lump.
It's like the size of a bar of Dove soap.
Yeah.
And then like she fucking works it under the skin. She
Oh!
like works it around.
This is
Until
like
her stomach.
this is such good like body, when you have body horror dreams from
Yeah.
most common is like teeth coming out,
Sure.
but
And
the
we
way
get that
in which-
later.
yeah, which we
We
get
also
later.
get the fingernail teeth. That's a common one.
Yep. But Like,
Mysterious tumor under skin.
yeah, and the way that it's just so like unnatural, but oh, it's and the she ends up pulling a full chicken drumstick out of her belly button.
Man, what is it about chicken that is so gross?
Because it's
Because it's so
it,
tasty.
yeah, I mean, I think when it's raw, we associate it one
Yeah,
with salmonella, but
sure.
also when it's raw, it's the sound of it's the disgusting slapping sound. It's
It's
fleshy
it's
and
also the
wet.
like you can see the like the little where the feathers have been pulled out,
Yeah.
the little pinprick feather.
And when it's
Ugh.
cooked, it's wrinkly and
It's
brown
glistening.
and glistening.
Schmaltz. It's the
And it
schmaltz.
and also it looks not it doesn't look human, but it looks like a living thing was once this.
Oh yeah. Like I just think of the like the sledgehammer video from the 80s with
Uh-huh,
those
uh-huh.
fucking dancing chickens,
Yes, yes.
chicken carcasses. Like that was imprinted onto
Uh-huh.
my brain as a young.
So Sue Sue snaps awake at this bad dream and then finds the depression food in the living room. And so again, like we're seeing the separation of these two people. They're only slightly conscious, I think, of what each other is doing.
Yes. Yes.
And she goes to work, but Pump It Up is shut down. Didn't you hear? Oh no, Harvey wants to see you now. Not later,
Oh,
now in the
can I
office.
change first?
Nope.
No? Okay.
But good news, ratings are through the roof. We've got a 120 share, whatever the fuck he says. People
Uh,
love you. We can't keep you on the morning show. We want you to host the New Year's Eve show, which is so funny to me that there feels like a time probably ending by the 80s where
yeah.
there's so rarely an A-lister on a New Year's Eve show now. Do you know what I mean? Like they're going to get a couple, but like hosting wise, you just kind of have the hosts that you like and
Yeah.
that they do it every year. But this notion that the New Year's Eve show is the biggest thing you could possibly do, where I'm like, listen, we're not really dragging out the A-list stars to host the
No.
shows, which is very
No.
funny. Um, again, like kind of going back to the youth, not aware of becoming old.
Yeah.
The New Year's Eve show is 3 months away. There's no consideration of like what day and time in my week on, week off is that going to
No.
fall? Can I even do that? It's just yes.
Yeah.
And that needle hole on Elizabeth's body is getting pussy.
Well, it starts like it looks not great,
No.
but it's when it's the lead up that Sue's like, oh, we have a Vogue shoot today. Can't miss that.
Yep.
Costume fitting. Can't miss that. So she's like, just one more day over. Just one more day over. That's when it starts getting pussy because she's going back to the well too many times.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and she's it's getting too much and she's taking away,
Yeah.
whatever it takes, it takes. Like you can't get it back. And Elizabeth wakes up screaming one day, and half of her face and
She's
one
got
of her
witch
arms,
leg.
yeah, she got witch arm, which half a face, one witch leg, which that leg, it's like knobby knee,
Oh my
and it looks
God.
like a chicken leg.
Yeah.
And
God, the scene of her trying to relocate her kneecap so she can get off of the oh my God.
uh,
As someone with kind of who has recently developed in his older age a quote unquote trick knee, which is
uh-huh.
just like the idea of do I go to a doctor for this? Or is this just something that I now get to live with until I die?
Yep. Oh, what a good question for so many things that happen.
But it's like she can't even, she's still like, and again, like Demi Moore fucking sells it. She's like, ugh. She's like straining to like get her knee and she's like, oh, thank God, I
Hmm.
can get up out of the chair. And she finds the growth. Oh my God. Um, the grossest photo. Like the 70s were the worst time to photograph food.
Yeah, she opens this
The 50s,
present that Harvey's wife
that's the
got
kind of,
her.
well, yeah, like 60s and 70s that
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just food is so unappetizing of that era.
Everything was so brown-ish,
Mhm.
and it was just everything was kind of a matte color, but it was somehow like the food was glossy, but the photo was matte,
Yeah.
and it's
And they're like, hey, we're gonna put like maraschino cherries on everything. Like
yeah.
lime jello is going to be the base of a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
Things, colors that should not, food should not be.
Yeah. Well, when she has this, like, we have another, I don't want to speak to the manager, and it's still like, the balance just needs to be respected. You are the same person. Respect the balance. But they also tell her, hey, you are the Matrix. Do you want to go back to being just you? You can
Yeah.
do that if you want.
But she also knows if she stops now, she just stays, she keeps what she gets. She keeps the witch finger, the witch leg, and the like, you know.
Yeah, this is classic sunk cost fallacy here,
Yes.
right? And she doesn't want to go back because you can't repair what has been taken. Those parts of your body aged rapidly, basically. So, yeah, she opens up that present from Harvey's wife, basically, is that
Hmm.
French cuisine cookbook from what looks to be like 1976 or something.
Hmm.
And every page is
Oh
shit
God. It's
like calf brains and
and pate.
veal, yeah, veal pate.
But
And
even the photos, it's like dough, like yeasty, just like you're like, what even is that?
we've talked about this in other movies before, but like, kudos to the prop makers
Oh yeah.
because I want a copy of this book.
The worst looking 70s French
Uh-huh.
cookbook.
I fucking love old cookbooks for this very reason. It's the fucking best. God, it all looks so disgusting. And so the thing is, that night, Sue, so it's a pre-taped thing that Sue had
Uh-huh.
recorded earlier that day before switching back. So Sue is on some late night talk show where they're just like, "You're the biggest star. You're what? Hey, so you kind of filled the role of Elizabeth Sparkle. Did you ever watch her show?" No, we're a different generation. And
Yeah.
she calls what Elizabeth did Jurassic Fitness.
Oh no.
Would you just share a beauty secret with us? Oh, I don't know. I just
It's
try
really
to be my true self.
inner beauty is really what I try to cultivate.
And Elizabeth is making every fucking recipe in this book and just snarking at the TV
Yeah.
screen. Like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah." That's what you sound like, kind of
I know,
bit.
right? Yeah. And it's
Um,
interesting. I find this actually really, this scene is really interesting because for the first time, somebody asks, Sue, where are you from? What's your history?
uh-huh.
Where the fuck you just appeared on our screens out of nowhere like a firecracker. And it's interesting how the sort of bullshit gloss over any actual, nobody really cares. She's like, I'm just a small town girl from a town in Indiana. You couldn't even call it a town. It's really a farm.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, "Oh, that's so adorable." No follow-up questions.
None. So Elizabeth is gone full crazy mode here
I
because she,
mean,
she
I think this is my favorite scene in the movie
where she basically throws a bunch of like food at the window to use as a paste to put newspaper up all over
because she
that big
can't
window.
look at the, oh my God. Blech. There's just like chicken carcass. That is not a normal chicken carcass.
No.
There's like extra bones in that thing.
Sue is reasonably upset when she comes to
Yeah,
see the place trashed like this. And Sue's plan here is she brings ball jars into
I
the
know,
little
right?
room and is like, I'm going to take all the spinal fluid I can get.
She's like, the next 3 months, all me.
All me. So, okay, poorly thought out plan.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, you know what, let's back and forth this. Let me go easy on the thing, because if she dies, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
But if the New Year's Eve thing doesn't quite work with the schedule, we can cheat a little bit around New Year's Eve and then go
Yeah,
back to normal. But again,
sure.
metaphor for addiction
Yeah,
doesn't work that way.
yeah.
3 months later, New Year's Eve show tomorrow, 9 p.m. She's got flowers from somebody, probably this new
Well,
hot, quiet
no,
boyfriend.
it's Harvey. I think it's
Oh,
the
those
same.
are Harvey's
It's
flowers.
kind of
Okay.
the same handwriting that, they're like, you were wonderful or whatever he said to
Yes.
Elizabeth. They're gonna love you.
I love that it says break a leg. The most obvious
Oh
joke. It
God.
has to happen, though.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that.
There's a hot boyfriend that she
Yep.
has that's way more chill. Maybe not boyfriend is not the right word. Like
Well,
boy
like, okay,
staying over.
the first one was fuck boy. This
Yes,
is kind of like trophy boyfriend.
correct. Coming to bed. So
It's
she's
like,
like,
I'll
I'll
be
be
there in
there.
a minute. I
But
just want to stand here and admire. Just take this moment in. I'm
Mhm.
on the verge of stardom.
So he goes to bed, but she goes to that bathroom and she is out of stabilizer
Oh
and
God, when it comes out like black.
she tries to draw some more and it is black.
Oh no, that's not good. Bodies should not produce that color fluid.
And the main office of the substance says, yeah, that means you reach the end of the fluid. Listen, you just have to switch back.
Yeah.
The fluid replenishes itself. I can't. There is no other option.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. So she collapses, and Elizabeth has to come back into the picture. The boyfriend hears all of this, is like,
Yeah.
Sue, you all right? Doop de doop de doo.
It's even worse. Like he sees the like blood splatter from her nose on the
Oh,
carpet. He's like, "Are you feeling down because it's your lady business time?"
lady business is a phrase. So
You
Elizabeth
feeling cranky?
Elizabeth sees herself for the first time in the
Oh
mirror
God,
because
I
it's been
love
three
it.
months, and
Yeah.
she's a goblin.
Yeah. Yes, she is.
Like we've gone full like this is goblin bodysuit.
Yeah.
And she starts shouting in her like goblin-y voice, like, get the fuck out, leave me alone. And
And
I
trophy
love
boyfriend's like, "Who's in there?"
and this dude fucking bails. Like
Yeah.
he's just out. Like he's not calling the cops, he's not
Nope.
calling her family, he's not
Nope.
doubling back, he's not like, I'm
Nope.
taking that door down. Um, what have you done with my girlfriend?
Nope.
Nope, he's just out. Love the cutback between
Their butts.
their butts. So good.
I know, because it's that idea of like, it's kind of the first time because listen, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are naked throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And I love that it's a French director because it's this very kind of like, they're French.
Uh-huh.
Nudity is very different.
Yeah.
Bodies are very different in Europe than it is in the United States. So to have this like not necessarily sexual nudity, but like just pure nudity.
Yeah.
And the only time we get it for a dude is like a hairy butt.
Uh-huh.
And then it cuts to Elizabeth and it's like the most it's like a potato that you pulled from the back of your cabinet that's been bruised and like, oh, it's bad.
You know what it is? Like from
It's
this
real
point on
bad.
in the movie, this character of Eliza Sue or whatever, this is a live action Ren and Stimpy cartoon.
Oh,
That's
it
the level of
is.
grossness that we're
Yes.
dealing with here.
Like the pimple, the close up of the pimple.
Mm-hmm. So she calls the office, Elizabeth does. I want to stop. Once you stop, you can't go back, but we can deliver it. So she's got to go running through the streets with her yellow coat
Oh
on
my God.
again.
Unhinged. Like again, it's the over the shot, but she's got like the yellow coat and a blanket and a like a kerchief.
Uh-huh.
And it's like the camera is now like not even in focus. It's just like all over the place,
Yeah.
mirroring her sort of mental where she's at.
Yeah. She tells Oliver to fuck off as she's running out,
Oh my
which is
God,
great.
I love it.
So she gets the thing, she brings it back, and she drags her body, Sue's body, out into the living room space.
Hmm.
And then now we get full Pulp Fiction. You got to do the
Hmm.
adrenaline shot to the chest, but it's a needle that says termination on it.
And it's a black liquid.
Uh-huh. And she drives it into Sue's chest. She gets about three-quarters of the way through and she stops.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I need you because I hate myself.
Yeah. Well, she wants, and she kind of sees that snow globe,
Uh-huh.
the Elizabeth Sparkle snow globe, and she gets that sort of dreamy, I love you, we love you, the kind of back in her heyday,
Uh-huh.
the sparkle of the limelight. She needs it. She wants it.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth isn't going to get it. And
No.
Sue is her only, seemingly, her only path to that.
Yes. Yeah. And so she's trying to do CPR and chest compressions, and you got to get ready. It's her big night, and she hooks up the blood tubes to the switchback thing,
Yep.
and it works. But now both of them are awake,
Oh,
which is probably not supposed to happen.
no. And Sue sees the termination
Uh
kit
huh.
as like, this bitch trying to kill me.
Yeah. No, no, no. It's not what you think. And oh, this chase and fight sequence
I love it.
is oh
It's again the heightened reality in which like Sue like karate kicks Elizabeth's little goblin body across the room two or three
uh
times.
huh into a glass coffee table.
Oh my God. It's when Sue gets Elizabeth and like starts like banging her skull against the mirror
Oh.
over and over and over. Elizabeth falls to the ground. I'm like, she's dead. Like, you're not cut. No, oh,
No,
she's still going. She's still all right.
I just have on my notes here. Oh God, the sounds of
Yeah,
this, the sounds of like head hitting tile,
yeah,
head hitting mirror, just everything. It's that wet thump
yeah,
that the ooh oh ooh, and she also is kicking the shit out of, stomping her to death,
yeah.
basically by this coffee table. And she remembers the phrase, "Remember, you are one." And suddenly she feels a surge of pain and stops. And now the voices, they're gonna love you. It's the big night. She's like, I gotta go do my shit.
And Elizabeth is dead at this point.
Basically, I mean, I sort of started assuming that like she's dying, like she's definitely going to die here or something.
But she doesn't move
No,
throughout the
she
rest
doesn't
of the like
move.
she kind of goes to that final coffee table. And it's when Sue and I love the shot of like Sue, like it's an upshot of her, and she's like energetically kicking over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And just like a little splatter of blood every time.
Uh-huh.
And I think she kills Sue. Or she kills
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
So she gets to it's the big night. She gets to hair and makeup. She's got a beautiful blue dress, almost
Oh
like
my God.
Cinderella.
I was gonna say it's the Disney princess dress that every little girl, it's the like, aren't you looking forward to your wedding day
Yeah.
when you get to wear the big princess dress?
It's the same color of blue as Cinderella and
Hmm.
Alice,
Yeah.
and it, from Disney movies, and it's um she's got a little bit of a cough, Cecil.
Yeah. And
Go
and her
ahead.
hearing's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. Oh, I just spit up some blood. Oh, I just spit up a whole tooth,
Oh no,
root
I
and
caught my
all.
tooth in my hand. And look, this one's really, and it just
Oh,
pulls three teeth straight out of her fucking head.
they're all front teeth too. It's not even like you could
Oh,
let the molar
no,
slide. These are like
no.
cuspids and incisors here. And she's like, I gotta get out. I gotta figure out something. And she is remembering the activator.
Yes. That said discard after one use only,
Uh-huh.
but had like a third of the bottle left.
So
I don't
sure, we
know.
can go use that. Well, she gets cornered by Harvey. It's like, I want you to meet the shareholders, which are a bunch of old white men leering
Yeah.
at her. He's like, is everything okay? You should smile. Pretty girls should always smile.
And again, it's like she doesn't have to say her voice is not needed in these conversations.
No, not wanted. And she smiles a lip closed, big grin. That's my girl.
Hmm. But then they get distracted by La Cage aux Folles
Uh
dancers,
huh.
or not La Cage aux Folles, Moulin Rouge
Uh
dancers.
huh. And she is going home. She jumps in that elevator. A full ass fingernail tears off.
Oh
Her
God,
ear falls off.
her ear falls off. I love it. And I love that someone like even gets on the elevator and is having a full conversation that we can't hear,
Yeah.
completely like not again, the physical not realizing that this person is, I don't know, bleeding out their finger, their ear isn't there. But it's more, like with the doctor of like not having an actual acknowledgement of the person standing next, you know?
Yeah. Not looking and seeing you look sad or in
Like,
pain.
yeah,
You look in trouble.
yeah.
Like the
Have
only
an,
time anyone says, "Are you okay?" is Harvey in the scene before, but it's only to get to the question of like, you must not be okay because you're not smiling. And
right.
it's not that I'm concerned that you're not okay. It's just that I need you to smile.
Yeah.
So she goes back home. She finds the activator. Please, please, please work. Please give me a better version of
A
myself.
better version of me.
And she does get one, Cecil. I would argue
She
she does.
she gets the best version. Yeah, I love again the eye. So we've seen the eye go from 1 to 2.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Now it's like a fucking bubble of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She
This,
falls out, she passes out.
mm-hmm.
We don't
And
see the transformation.
no, we just see it from the point of view of this beast
And
crawling back
it's
out.
oh God, it's like she just catches her face in the mirror and is like scared,
Yes,
like a
I love
timid,
that.
like a timid, and then has to work up the oh no,
Uh
and looks back in the mirror.
huh.
Monstro Elizasu. Now, I didn't look up. I couldn't find this online. I want to know who was in the Monstro suit.
That's a good question. I did not look that up either.
I don't know. It's a mystery to me.
Yeah.
Is it Margaret Qualley? Because we get like this thing is it's got teeth in its chest. It's very Elephant Man, but like it has Elizabeth Demi Moore's face kind of stuck in a contorted scream on her back.
Um.
Is it a third actor or is it one of our two main actors?
Um. So I am seeing from I'm seeing from Reddit here, but somebody talks about seeing a behind the scenes that she at least did some of it because she did like there's in a behind the scenes there's Margaret Qualley like calling her boyfriend over FaceTime in that
Oh my
suit or
God,
what have you.
amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
Um.
Good for her.
Yeah. So that is Margaret Qualley for the most
Okay.
part. Maybe.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
but I was like, surely it's not another, but this thing it's so it's like you can't tell.
Yeah.
Like there's so much prosthetic going on.
So I think I hope I get his quote right, but our friend and former and a previous guest on the show, Dan McCoy, I was talking to him yesterday about this movie,
Hmm.
and we were talking about just what a tremendous final act this is. We get the title card, Monstroso Elizasu, and he said, I hope I get this right. He described the final act of this movie as drop dead gorgeous meets Guar,
Oh, sure.
which is
Yeah.
so apt, and it's the
Yeah.
first moment where,
I would add Frankenstein in there
uh-huh,
as well. The
and
like burn, bring the
yes,
torches. It's a
yes.
monster. Burn it.
But this is where the satire of it feels less, it feels more hilarious.
It's
You
more
know,
hilarious and more metal.
it's so
It's
metal.
less like got to pump it up like
Mhm.
slick MTV. Now we're in like
Guar.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
like bands that don't make MTV music videos.
Yeah. And I think the last, whatever this is, 25 minutes, this final act of this movie is some of the funniest, most disgusting
Oh yeah.
shit I've ever seen. And Monstro Elizasu
Oh
puts
God,
on that blue dress,
her getting ready.
put an
She just like jams the
earring.
earring into the side of her head, into the tumor on the side of her.
The second earring, as she puts it in, like a little eye opens on the
Hmm.
skin near it and looks at the
She
earring.
she tries to curl her hair, but it just pulls
Just
out, and she's like, "Oh,
and it
oh
burns.
no,
And
oh
it's
well."
I thought the hair curling is great because she just has like three or four little
I know,
strands of
I
hair.
know.
And also the showing it burn, like I immediately could smell.
Oh yeah, that like,
Like you don't even need smell-o-vision if you've ever
no.
been around burnt hair.
Oh
You're like,
yeah,
oh, I know that smell. And then then she cuts out a big picture of Elizabeth's face from
yeah.
that
She
portrait,
pulls the portrait out.
wears it as a mask, and adds
Mhm.
on a crazy amount of lipstick to the picture.
Oh my God, it's unhinged.
And she gets back in the building. And this is where like dream logic and
Hmm.
reality are kind of mixed together because she has this like Norma Desmond showing back up
Yes.
to the Paramount lot
Yeah, 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 yeah.
kind of moment where security is like,
You're
oh,
here. We
yeah,
love you.
yeah.
Kind of each individual person leading will be like, oh, like, here's your flowers. Oh God, we missed you. We love you so much. But then she kind of blinks and it's just an empty hallway again.
And now the whole audience is inside the theater, and all of the showgirls are finishing the routine. The lights are focusing. The Also Sprach Zarathustra is
Hmm.
playing. It's the time for the big moment. And Monstro Elizasu emerges, and there's just a big kind of like cartoon question mark above everyone's head.
Yeah.
The dancers all looking at each other like, this is crazy. I am.
Like, once again, that thing of like, keep smiling. What the fuck is this?
I'm so happy to be with all of you tonight in Monster Voice. The mask falls.
Oh no. Gasp.
Her skin on her face bursts open, and a boob comes out of it.
A boob comes out of her eye socket.
Yes. And then one woman in the crowd stands,
I
points,
love
and
it.
screams. Another man, the monster! Shoot the
Oh
monster!
my God.
It's me. I'm the same. I'm the same. I'm who you love. Monster!
And then some dude just takes like a microphone stand and like beats her in the head.
Uh-huh.
But another head grows out of that.
And then blood hoses
Blood cannon.
just
Yeah,
spray
he like
everywhere.
knocks off her arm, and then I this is actually one of my this is a simple shot, but it's this really beautiful shot of her in the spotlight with the dress doing a spin with just like a laser beam of blood.
Uh-huh.
So
Yep.
beautiful. Like it reminds me of Fantasia in a weird sort of way.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like the dance of the flowers. If you want to see like the glee that I'm sure making this movie was, there is behind the scenes footage of them doing this scene.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like the camera, it's like the director, the DP in like raincoats and it's just shooting like gallons of blood at an audience.
It's
And
so good.
again, it's that thing of like they did it.
Yeah.
It was a moment in time that they captured on film that has a reality to it. Like when you see like Dennis Quaid's face of like, I'm ruined, and he's just like dripping with blood. You could have CGI'd this,
Uh-huh.
but it would have been dumb.
Right.
But to watch it happen and the absurdity is the bigness of it, the amount of blood, the like where the fuck is all this blood come? That's the absurdity, but the fact that it was actually done is a craft.
Yeah.
It makes it true impactful satire.
And again, the practical effects I think are so important here of having the hose spray this
Yeah.
audience because you're watching people run in a very normal way and there's
Yeah.
no like I understand during the fight sequence there's some like stunt work, CGI, not stunt work, but
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
some type of fly rigging to have the
Yeah, we got
goblin
to
fly
kind of
across
we
the
got to
room.
green
But
screen out the wires or
yeah, and I don't,
make the jumps a little higher.
yeah, and I don't want to watch people getting like blown back 20 feet by blood hose. I want to
Yeah,
watch people like legit just scrambling in
yeah,
panic.
yeah.
And then we're hearing those like phrases from the audition boys, like, too bad those boobs aren't in the middle of her face instead of that nose. And then Monstro goes running out of the building through the streets, trips, falls, and just bursts open.
Oh my God.
And all that's left is a crawling piece of slime, like it looks like a placenta, right? Like it
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
um
It's like like a splatter of flesh
yeah, and then
with Elizabeth with actual Demi Moore's kind of Elizabeth Sparkle's face.
yep,
The only thing left of Elizabeth Sparkle, just inching its way across the sidewalk.
to the
Finally
Hollywood
makes
Walk of Fame.
finally makes it to its star. I love this, and it's just the face. One of the repeated shots that we've gotten throughout are palm trees.
Uh-huh.
And it's always like extreme shots of palm trees, and they in kind of single or in clumps of three. When things start getting unhinged, they're sort of like double exposed. But for the first time, it's like Elizabeth's face looks up and it's three beautiful, like it's the most natural lighting, it's the most calming lighting as
Uh-huh.
opposed and colors as opposed to anything else in this movie. And it's like a beautiful sky of stars. And she has this look of like refreshment.
Yeah.
Like there's such beauty in the world
Uh-huh.
that is not related to bodies. Like there's a
Yeah.
bigger beauty.
Yes.
And the sparkles start falling on her face,
Uh-huh.
and she just melts.
Yep. And then a street cleaner in the daylight just goes right by and cleans it right up.
Nothing left.
The substance. Yep, you got that noise so good. Credits. The end. Cecil, shall we rate this movie?
Yes, let's.
All right. How approachable is the substance if you are horror movie averse? Well, tough question. It's because it's going to be all based on how well you deal with body horror. Really? This movie is not scary. Really? I mean, like deeply existential scares.
Like no jump scares, not so much, but
No.
it is cringeful.
It's very cringy and it's very gory and body horror, especially like I said, like the close up of what needles are doing and
Oh God.
extracting and touching and bleh. So like I don't know, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not at all approachable and 10 being very easily approachable, I would give like the substance like let's go like 4 out of 10 black slime vials. um it's hard. It's a hard watch in the body horror thing, in the body horror world. But if you are more averse to, you don't want to watch gratuitous like violence of like kidnapping and limb
Yes.
chopping and
Yes.
hacker or slasher stuff. This movie doesn't have any of that. It is much more body falling apart stuff.
And it's also the body horror is very different than the Cronenberg style, which is drop dead serious.
Yes.
There's kind of a wink
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can handle some close-up gore, content warnings for the body horror, the blood and gore, and the needles, and the depression
And the
depicted.
food gross out.
Yeah. I think you could handle this movie. It might be for a lot of people closer to like a 7 or 8, but
Sure.
I'll say
I can see
4,
that.
just with those caveats in mind. To speak nothing of approachability, Cecil, how do you rate this as a horror film?
As a horror film, I mean, this is like kind of it does it.
Hmm.
It has a point of view. It executes amazingly well.
Uh-huh.
It knows its influences in the sort of the Stanley Kubrick, but it has a reference, but it's not trying to redo it.
No.
And it really does kind of bring something to the horror genre that I said has kind of been missing for the last 20, 30 years, which is this sort of gleeful, gross fun
Hmm.
that also has a story that is interesting and political
Hmm.
and really has a fucking point of view. And is like somebody said, they're like, oh, I didn't like the substance. It reminded me of like a Black Mirror episode that lasted 2 hours. And I was like, yeah, but you cast these actors and you reach the level of like of practical effects and the
Uh-huh.
attention to detail, and it kind of transcends that.
Yeah, I think it's way I get where they're coming from. I do wish this movie were like 40 minutes shorter, like rewatching it
Just a bit of
yesterday.
that.
I mean, that's also to my personal taste of like anything over 90, I'm a little like
Yeah.
squirmy.
Yeah.
But some of it goes on a bit long, but it's also like a Black Mirror episode directed by like Stanley Kubrick. Like the attention
Yes.
to visual detail, the shots in
Yes.
this film are so good. And I would also say this reminds me of like reading like a literary novel.
Mm.
Sometimes you're like,
Hmm.
okay, this novel is 140 pages longer than it needs to
Yeah.
be. However, the layering of themes, because for
Yeah.
satire, I
Like,
think
what would you cut?
with a
You
Black
know?
Mirror episode, the satire is going to be one layer, and that's perfect for
Yes.
38
Yep.
minutes. The layers of misogyny,
Yep.
self-image, just basic existentialism, and I think old and young,
Yeah.
like the generational split, as well as how we treat our bodies, I think are all interrelated but very separate ideas that this movie stacks one on the other. And seeing it twice, I still have the same complaints about I wish it were shorter just for my own personal wish. But what would you cut?
Yeah.
And there's so much to mine out of this film. I get
Yeah.
something out of it both times. So um let's
Oh.
oh
Oh,
oh
so
yeah,
for that
your
reason,
rating.
I don't know. I would give this movie, I'd give this movie like 8 out of 10. Um, earrings stuck into your temple.
Great. Well, let's figure out what movie we are going to watch next. You've got a scare die. I've got a style die. We will roll those dice up and see what movie fits those two things. So on your scare die, Cecil, if you roll a 1, our next movie scare is End of the World. 2, Bad Mom, Bad Dad. 3, Cryptid. 4, Wild Card. 5, Magic with a K. Or 6, Mind Games.
That's a 3.
Gonna get Cryptid.
It's a
Oh, this is
cryptid.
so interesting. All right,
Woogie,
so
woogie, woogie.
we're going to match your cryptid with the style that I roll. If I roll a 1, it's got to be a black and white movie. 2, it's got to be a B movie. 3, it's got to have a one-word title. 4, it's got to be, this is so specific, a movie from 1991, the 1 year since 1970 that we have not covered for the show in 277 episodes. 5, it's got to be horror homework. Or 6, it's got to be Asian horror, something from the continent of Asia. All right, let's see what we got here. Do my little shaker. I got a 6. We're going to do Asian horror cryptid, which is
Okay.
going to be interesting. I bet there's going to be a lot that we're missing here. So hopefully people on Letterboxd have come through for us.
Oh, we have quite a few suggestions on
Okay.
Letterboxd.
We have a Letterboxd account. We're at Random Horror 9 there. You can see every possible die roll matchup on there and in our list section, and you can contribute in the comments to movies you think we should include for consideration. So, but let's talk about the ones that we wrote down first. Let me just see here. Let me get some of these going. Okay, so God, Letterboxd has changed their layout, and I get so confused as to what's happening. All right, so I wrote down The Mimic. I think, if I remember correctly, I kind of got to this as kind of a changeling type of situation,
Okay.
even though I think that's more of a Western, like European cryptid. But I kind of went with this. Here's the synopsis. The mother of a missing child takes in a lost girl she finds in the woods, but soon begins to wonder if she is even a human.
Uh-oh.
I believe this is a Korean film. I also wrote down The 100.
Okay.
I don't know if this checks with you at all. This is here's the synopsis: quarantine hotel where overseas travelers stay in isolation to curb the spread of a contagious virus. but they soon become prey to a strange breed of a 100-legged monster. This is more just like monster film. I don't know if this is technically a cryptid,
Okay, sure.
but I was reaching. I don't know my Japanese or my Korean or my Chinese Bigfoots. I don't know my
Yeah.
Thailand-based Mothmans and things like that. Mothman?
Oh,
Mothman.
Moth's Man.
Yeah. Another one we have is In My Mother's Skin.
This one looks very pretty.
Yeah. So this is stranded in the Philippines during World War II. A young girl finds that her duty to protect her dying mother is complicated by her misplaced trust in a beguiling, flesh-eating fairy. Fairy,
Oh,
cryptid. Perfect.
love it.
Uh-huh. Like Tinkerbell.
Yeah. Or like, Pan's Labyrinth.
You might have put this one on here. There's one
I think
called...
the next three I put on here, but I'm gonna have to
Okay.
like remember.
So
So
there's one on
get
here.
ready to do some editing here because I'm having to look these up right
Yeah.
now.
Here's one called Pulgasari. It looks like it's available to watch. In feudal Korea, a group of starving villagers grow weary of the orders handed down to them by their controlling king, set out to use a deadly monster under their control to push his armies back.
1985.
Mhm.
It looks very I don't know. It's like, is it communist propaganda? Kind of kaiju movie?
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Interesting.
available though?
Yeah.
Is my
That one
question.
looks available. The next one
Okay.
is not. The Cursed Land,
Oh,
um,
right.
which is
Oh,
a
you know why? I
Thai
put this one
film.
on here because um oh, is this one? No, that's something else. Oh, this one's not available. Oh,
No.
nuts.
Um, Finally, we have Marabito, which I believe is a Japanese film. Fear-obsessed freelance cameraman investigates an urban legend involving mysterious spirits that haunt the subways of Tokyo.
Oh, this looked really interesting. And again, it's like, is it a cryptid? I don't know, but they're creatures underground
Yeah,
that are maybe a vampire or maybe a monster.
yeah.
Seems okay.
Well, let's figure out what people on Letterboxd have to say.
Silver 713 recommends The Cat from 2011 and South Korea and says it could work. It's about a murdering ghost cat.
Uh-huh. Great.
That sounds cool. OK Panic also recommends Pulgasari, feudal Korea, big sort of monster, a Korean take on Godzilla.
Okay.
Cronenberg TA recommends The War of the Gargantuans from Japan. After escaping a laboratory, two giant ape-like humanoids battle it out over Tokyo. That sounds like a lot of
Okay.
fun.
We're gonna get a lot of like monster films
I
if we
think
want to
I think we're gonna
incorporate
get like,
monster movie.
which honestly, I think somebody down here brings up a good point. They're like, Half Price Horror says, I mean, what is Godzilla if not a large, angry cryptid that
Yeah.
fights with other cryptids?
Yeah.
And Half Price Horror recommends Godzilla 2000 from 1999 because what if Twister, but for Godzillas?
Okay,
And I
sure.
think that's a great point and a good choice. Sarah Kendall recommends Matango from 1963.
Love this description that Sarah gives us.
It's like Gilligan's Island, except everything is terrible,
Great.
and there are also mushroom people in the jungle.
Fucking love it.
I think Matango was like on a previous thing, and we're just like, this sounds insane.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does.
I want to look up a little picture from this. Very 1960s Japan.
Yeah.
Mushroom people. So
Great.
it's like The Last of Us, but Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
A Swarm of Bees recommends Tekete. No, Tek
Teke
Tech
Teke.
et Tech Tech Etake. There you go.
Okay, there you go. Okay, great.
Not sure if this is more of an urban legend as opposed to a cryptid, but the concept of a half a person arm running around cutting people in half is really spooky, in their opinion.
Okay.
It's like, oh, that's kind of, oh yeah,
Yeah.
killer limb, cryptid. I don't know, maybe. Monstrum recommends Carved, the slit mouth woman from
Oh, yeah. This is kind of like
2007.
urban legendy.
Okay, urban legend terrorizes a Japanese suburb, a vengeful spirit who asks a deadly question. They also recommend Death Kappa from 2010. Nuclear fallout causes the mutation of a classic Japanese yokai, the kappa, causing it to grow to monstrous proportions and fight other irradiated beasts.
Great.
Godzilla meets classic yokai in this bonkers passion project.
Okay.
That sounds like fun. Farce Majeure recommends Gantz O from 2016. 3D animation about people who get resurrected being forced to fight monsters with futuristic weapons. That is the most anime description of anything I think I've ever heard. The movie is basically one long action sequence with some paper thin plot and bookends. But what they love about it is that the monsters they fight are all classic, recognizable yokai. Oh, that's kind
Okay.
of cool. So, like Tengu with the red face and the big nose and the giant disembodied heads, that
Uh-huh.
giant bull spider demon, a geisha with no eyes or nose. Oh, that's really cool. It's really cool to see them rendered in a realistic way when chasing down our protagonists. Even if we're going with Asia and cryptids, you got to get some yokai. That's a
Hmm.
good point. Little Happy Little Yarn recommends Tumbad, which I think was one of the ones that I put on my wish list,
Yeah.
wild card. A 2018 Hindi movie about a man's desire for wealth. Set in the titular village, it follows Vinayak, his poor mother supported by his wealthy father, whose riches are connected to a mysterious god trapped somewhere in his estate, but whose boon can come at a terrible price. Very like Hindi fairy tale,
Uh-huh.
genie demon kind of thing.
Yes.
Weaponized Toaster recommends Dark Tales of Japan from 2005, a collection of 5 short horror films that are directed by 5 notable Japanese film directors. And the first short film has a giant creature. They also recommend Yokai Monsters, 100
Sure.
Monsters from 1968. Vengeful creatures descend on arrogant nobles who have threatened to destroy the dwelling of some poor villagers. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I love a morality lesson in there. Paige recommends Host from 2006. Go back and listen to our Host episode for that one. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
one.
Host is great. Fucking loved Host. It's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen.
Fifth Hammer recommends Gozu from 2003, Takashi Miike's tale of gang member Minami, who respects his brother Ozakai, who has always protected him in the past. But tragically, Ozakai seems to be going insane. Gang leader is unsympathetic to Ogazai's insanity and demands Minami kill his brother. Not sure where the
Yeah, I'm
cryptid
missing
comes in
that.
there,
Yeah.
but maybe. Ace Diamond recommends Godzilla minus one, uh, and also recommends Dan Da Dan,
Mm-hmm.
an anime in which a girl who believes in ghosts and a boy who believes in aliens get an argument about which are real. In an effort to settle it, they find out that not only both of them are right, but it's now falling on them to settle all the paranormal occurrences around town. They also recommend Monstrum. Plague spreads across ancient Korea, and the country's best generals dispatched to kill the monster allegedly responsible, only to find there's more to the story than he thought. I think I've seen like Monstrum on a couple of lists of like kind of cool folk horror,
Yeah.
action horror.
Yes.
King and Commoner recommends The Tag Along from 2015. Based on a more recent Taiwanese legend of the little girl in red, a home video in the film is actually inspired by the 1998 tape that started or popularized the myth. A
Interesting.
series of disappearances are pretended by the appearance of a mysterious girl wearing a red dress. And when his girlfriend starts investigating the cause, when his grandmother vanishes, uh-oh.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Vaulted Spider also they have a big second for Dan to Dan. Um, this category could not be better for it, they say.
Okay.
And they also want to throw in Puella Magi Magica, the movie.
Oh yeah, they've recommended this one before to us.
A 2-part movie. The first part is sufficient to get the horror, magic, and brilliance. Legitimately broke anime for a few years. Medica Kaname and her friends are offered a Faustian bargain by a mysterious little cute critter who becomes a magical girl and fights witches in exchange for a wish.
Okay.
Existential, melancholic, gorgeous, bitchin' soundtrack, and all around brilliant.
Okay.
And finally, Legend of Ganon recommends Inhuman Kiss from Thailand.
This was my top choice, but it is not available for
Oh
streaming in the United States. But
no.
it is the classic, like, head of a woman with a spinal column floating in
Oh
the woods, sort of
yes.
yokai type
Oh
of
no.
bit. Although I
Yeah,
know this
girl
is
becomes
Thailand.
a Krausa flying head demon at night when
Hmm.
she sleeps, and a boy falls in love with her and tries to keep her secret.
This looks so, so good, and I want to see this movie. Cecil, I think I know what movie we need to do.
Uh-huh.
And it's one that's not even mentioned here, but I was inspired just now to
Uh-huh.
include this movie based off of Farce Majeure suggesting Gans O with all of the yokai in it.
Okay.
An animated movie with a bunch of yokai that is
Uh-huh.
Asian,
Yeah.
Spirited Away.
Oh. Yeah. I counted dragon as a cryptid.
Yeah, there's several like yokai represented
Yeah.
in that movie as well. There's lots of websites that'll kind of break down all the yokai that were used to make some of the different critters and monsters. But like I feel like in Japanese
Yeah.
lore, I feel like yokai fit into the cryptid world.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a movie we've talked about for this show before,
Yeah.
as a potential consideration. Maybe we want something more horror-y. It's not
I know it's definitely
horror-y.
for it. There are some horrific elements to it.
I mean,
And
it's
honestly, it kind of
it's like
has
G-rated horror.
that's it. It's for the squeamish horror.
Hmm.
Honestly, there's some like some body kind of substance-esque body horror in there.
No Face is a really good for the squeamish monster
Yeah.
because it's a pretty scary character, but also really rich and deep.
But
Um,
also an island of 1960s mushroom monsters.
yeah, that one sounds really, really fun as well. Um, that one is. It looks like it is.
I mean, it's gonna be cheesy.
Yes, it does look like that one is available on Criterion and it's available for streaming. Yep. So and Prime. Um, yeah, it's a question of like maybe we don't need maybe we want to watch coming just off of a very slick contemporary
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
we
yeah.
want to go back to more of the big clunky monster movie sort of thing.
Yeah.
I would be down for that. Especially coming off of a movie like The Substance, which is a very talked about film. Going into Spirited Away, that is also a very talked about film. It's hard to find a
That's
lot.
true.
It's hard to find a lot of new takes within that realm. So maybe Matango is more of the play here.
I think I like Matango. I like War of the Gargantuans.
Uh-huh.
Because I think the idea is that like okay, the Godzilla like kind of kaiju are kind of big cryptids, just big.
Yeah. War of the Gargantuan sounds really good. I mean, I'm so partial to the folks on Letterbox like Sarah Kendall
Yeah.
who give us a great description.
Mhm.
Gilligan's Island, except everything is terrible
I
and there are mushroom
know.
people in the jungle.
I know. And then don't forget In My Mother's Skin.
Oh, and that one is truly that's fairies. So that is like our classic like Western cryptid,
Have we done a
flesh
movie
eating.
from the Philippines?
Which one? In My Mother's Skin?
Yeah, it's
I
from the
believe so.
Philippines.
Yeah. Which is also nice. I don't know if we've done Philippines yet.
Oh.
It looks like it could be art housey.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of it also might not be. It says horror on genres on Just Watch, but it's also got a little bit of like fantasy, mystery,
Yeah.
thriller, military action.
Yeah. It really does sound like Philippines Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're totally right. I don't know. What'll it be? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know, Jeffrey. There's so many interesting, like we're kind of all over, I would say all over the map. I mean, like each country's take is like going to be very different.
Yeah.
'Cause we've got some 1960s Japan, which is going to be like lots of monsters and rubber suits.
Uh-huh.
We've got something
I
like
think
from
I'm
2023 that's going to be like kind of more beautiful, folksy, interesting. We've got Spirited Away, which is like a good for the squeamish,
mhm.
gorgeous to watch.
You know what I think we need to watch? I
What?
think we need to watch Matango. I want to go back to a 60s movie
Okay.
that looks clunky and fun, and we just come off of the substance is fun, but the substance is heavy, it is rich, it is beautiful. There's a
It is
lot to really
Oscar.
break down
Yes.
in that movie. I want to go to, I think Matango's the play
Something
here.
campy and fun and dumb.
Yes. What do you think of that?
I agree.
Let's do it. Thanks, Sarah, for Matango 1963. It does look available for streaming. I know words. And thank you all for listening. Thank you, Cecil, for talking with me. If you have thoughts on The Substance or ideas for other movies that would have been good Asian horror meets cryptid, let us know at Random Horror 9 on Blue Sky, Instagram, or on Patreon, where we have public discussion threads for each and every episode. And you don't have to be a paying member to participate and watch Matango 1963 with us this week. And come on back next Tuesday for a new episode. Have a restful night with no chicken legs and your belly whole or nothing. Boo.